Car insurance premiums for unemployed people are on average 30% higher than for those who are in work.
Yes, research by the BBC found that in some cases the difference was as much as 60%, as Andrew Fagg has been finding out.
Chris Palmer is an architect from Cambridge. He was made redundant at the end of November and signed on 2 weeks later. When he came to renew his car insurance, he got a nasty surprise.
That is the premium that I'm paying this year, and that was last year's one.
He was told that because he was unemployed, his premium with M&S would go up by nearly £100.
That's a huge increase. That's whatever, 30%, something like that. All for the fact that I'm unemployed. And I cannot follow the reasoning. I really cannot follow the reasoning that was given to me that I should be doing more motoring in the endeavour to find jobs. I think particularly at the moment, jobs are very, very few and far between.
Many factors are taken into account by car insurers, from your age to the age of your car. It makes comparing drivers' premiums virtually impossible. But the British Insurance Brokers Association says, on average, premiums are about 30% higher if you're unemployed, whether you live in Scotland, Wales or England.
Insurance companies tell us that they look at the claim statistics, and unfortunately someone that's unemployed does tend to be at a higher risk than someone that is currently employed. And if you look at the financial pressures that they're under, there are issues like the maintenance of your car. So you might not necessarily be able to afford the new tyres, the new brakes that an employed person would be able to do.
There might be sound reasons for asking unemployed people to pay more. It's standard practice. But perhaps it doesn't reflect well on insurers in the week that unemployment in the UK rose to its highest level in 17 years. Andrew Fagg, BBC News.
Well, here with some tips on how to bring car insurance premiums down, Malcolm Tarling from the Association of British Insurers. Very good morning to you. Seems a little harsh, doesn't it, at a time when you've lost your job, that your premium goes up?
Well, it may seem harsh on the face of it, but as your report has just shown, the reason that some insurance companies will charge a higher premium if you're unemployed is they do have claims data. And this is what it's about. It's about evidence that insurance companies will have that shows that if you're unemployed, you may be more likely to either make a claim or have a claim made against you. Now, not all insurance companies will take that same attitude, because obviously not all insurance companies' claims experience will necessarily be the same. So I think the key rule here is to do what you should always do when you're faced with a conundrum like this, is to shop around. A good local insurance broker can help. As I say, not all insurance companies will take the same attitude.
What do you think is the link between people who are unemployed and making more claims or having more claims against you?
Well, it's difficult to say. On the face of it, insurance companies will look at their data, and their data will show them that if you're unemployed, you're more likely to have a claim or have a claim made against you. Then that will have to reflect in the cost of insurance. It could be factors, as we've just heard on that video there, that, for example, you may be more likely to be driving more, which could increase the risk. But I mean, there are simple steps that you can take to reduce the risk. This is not a case of losing your job and having to resign yourself to having to pay more for your insurance.
Have you seen the figures?
Well, I haven't seen the figures in your report. I mean,
have you seen the figures that show categorically that unemployed people have more accidents than employed people?
I have not seen those figures, no, but every insurance company that will charge us more for someone who's unemployed will have statistical data to back it up. And as I say, not all insurance companies will charge more, because not all insurance companies' data will necessarily show that the unemployed are more likely to make a claim. But I think across the board that is likely to be the case.
Some of these things that people will grasp, which is that I think people understand that young drivers have more accidents. And I think the figures for that have been published and are well known. Mm-hmm. I just think there's a lot of people who will hear this and say, well, what is the evidence that unemployed people are more likely to crash? I mean, I know you say the evidence is there. I mean, can we look at it? Can we find it? Is it going to be published?
Well, it's not going to be published, but if you
if
you talk to any insurance company about the reasons why they may be charging you more for your insurance, they should give you reasons that set out, well, we're charging you more because we believe the risk is this much greater. And there is no magic figure here. There's no uniform set of data that shows across the board if you're unemployed, you're more likely to have an accident.
I thought a moment ago you did say that there was that evidence. The statistics did exist.
Well, the statistics will exist within different insurance companies. So, for example, one insurance company may have statistics to show that the unemployed people on their books are more likely to make a claim. Another insurance company may have those statistics that show while they're more likely to make a claim, the risk may not be quite as great. That is why the premiums will differ between different insurance companies. And there may be some insurance companies out there, as there is in a very competitive market, that will specialise in insuring people that don't fit the standard boxes, if you like.
So there's no blanket evidence that unemployed people are more likely to make claims because it's not consistent across all the insurance companies, whereas we know that for young people that is consistent. So how come an architect who up to one moment was working is then unemployed for a time and is charged a significant percentage more? On what basis is that architect who, you know, has a decent claims history going to become a risk?
Well, obviously I can't talk about this individual case, but the other point
Well,
is...
we've got lots of evidence from people who have
yeah.
emailed in to say that they've experienced the same thing. So this is obviously something that happens regularly. You work, you don't make claims, you have a decent premium, you're out of work, suddenly your premium goes up significantly. Where has the risk suddenly increased?
Well, the individual insurance company concerned will look at the particular circumstances. They'll look at the risk associated with a particular driver. It's not just about your employment status, important though that can be. There are lots of other factors that an insurance company will take into account. They take into account where you live, your occupation,
But all of those things haven't.
your driving
but
history.
apart from your occupation, all of the other things don't appear to have changed for these individuals.
Yes, and in which case the particular insurance company concerned in that case and in all other cases, if you're made unemployed, they will then look at the risk of the unemployed making a claim as far as their those people on their books are concerned.
Well,
that's the point here, is that individual insurance companies will all have their own claims experience. Now, one insurance company may have a claims experience that shows the unemployed people on its books are more likely to make a claim than another company. That's why attitudes will vary between insurers, and that's why, crucially, the premiums that you will be asked to pay, if you're asked to pay any additional premiums, will vary between different companies.
What rights do we have as consumers to know upon what information our insurance company is basing? Because, I mean, you keep quoting that they will have their evidence. I mean, if I become unemployed and my premium goes up, and I say to them, well, what's your evidence that I'm more of a risk? Well, can I ask for that evidence? Because you seem to be saying every time, this is the fallback position is, they've got the evidence.
Well, if you talk to the company, as we just heard, some companies say that their evidence shows that if you're unemployed, you're up to 30% more likely to make a claim.
So,
than if
what
you're
I'm
in
asking is,
full-time
do I have a
employment.
right to see that evidence? I mean, it's just people saying there's evidence, isn't it? I'm not. We seem to come to this stumbling block every time.
You don't have the right to see the evidence, but you can ask the insurance company for the evidence, just as you can ask them for evidence of, well, I'm older than another driver, why has my premium gone up or gone down? Ultimately, your rights are to vote with your feet, shop around, you can go elsewhere if you want to, you can use a good insurance broker.
Do you know for a fact that there are insurance companies that do not charge more to unemployed people?
I do not know a particular company that will not charge more if you're unemployed. Having said that, it's a very competitive market.
Well, you can't shop around there, can you?
Well, there's a very competitive market. I do not know the policies of every single insurance company out there. I don't think I could possibly be able to claim to know that.
Well, if there
but there are
isn't-
experts in the area.
If there
insurance
isn't an
brokers who
insurance
do.
company that offers the same rate for unemployed people, then you can't shop around.
Because there may well be companies out there. Premium rates vary, attitudes between insurers vary. That's why you should go to a good insurance broker. They will know the market. They will know what companies out there take what attitudes to unemployed. Well, I'm not saying there's a blanket premium rate or ban for unemployed people. What I'm saying is that rates vary between insurers, attitudes vary between insurers. Shop around, get a broker who knows the market on your side. They'll give you the best deal.
Do appreciate your time this morning. Malcolm Tarlings from the Association of British Insurers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we're going to turn our